So guys, on this episode, we are talking all about Tabletop for the End of the World, a post-apocalyptic D&D show featuring Jemarc. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to be mixing up some amazing official TFEW drinks, and it's coming up right after this. Welcome back, guys. Tom here from the Geeky Drinkers, and I've got an amazing special co-host.
Hello there. I am Jemarc. Some people may know me as Jemarc the Gamer's Guide, back when I did YouTube more often. But now I am the CEO and founder of We Are Heroes Productions, which has made Tabletop for the End of the World.
Absolutely.
Yeah, D&D podcast.
Super cool.
There's only like one in the world. There's only one of those.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, D&D is not that popular yet.
Yeah, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later, how like non-popular it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So guys, we are going to be talking with Jemarc. We're going to be making some awesome, cool drinks, officially titled End of the World.
Yes.
And we're going to be making some amazing stuff. So we're excited. But what we're going to do is we're going to do rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first.
Awesome. Do you go to shoot or do you stop at scissors?
So it'll be 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Okay. Sometimes people do differently. I grew up in Japan, so we did Junken Point. And we just did it, yeah.
What's it called in D&D? Stone parchment shears?
Yeah. Okay, rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Going first.
All right, so I'm making first. So we're essentially going to be making the same kind of drink, but we're going to be making it on our own.
Yeah.
So we are going to be doing 2 ice cubes right in the bottom there. And then we're going to be starting with melon liqueur. We're going to be doing 1 ounce of that. So melon is actually one of your favorite alcohols. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, in Japan we do Junken Point. I actually grew up in Japan. I'm a Navy brat, U.S. Navy brat. And so I was born and raised in Yokosuka, Japan. And then I had the privilege of going back over the summers in college because my parents were stationed there again.
Oh, nice.
And so when I went back, I was of legal drinking age for Japanese people, and I had a ball of a time. And it was great.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Awesome.
Or I might not have been legal drinking age, and they just didn't check. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, if you watch this.
It's in the past.
I was a bad boy.
It's in the past.
When I go back to Japan, they're like, we know what you did.
So, speaking of traveling around, so you're not from the Kitchener-Waterloo area.
I'm not. No.
You're an international guest, our first international guest.
Oh, your first international guest?
Yeah.
Oh my god. And I flew out here literally for this.
You did.
This is amazing. Yeah, I'm officially what's his name? I'm Pitbull, right? Mr. Worldwide?
Pitbull?
Yeah. I'm Mr.
Oh, like
Worldwide.
the artist?
Or Jason Derulo, International Love. I don't know.
I was gonna go with like International Man of Mystery, Awesome Powers.
Wow, you made
going
me
back
sound
in the day.
a lot cooler
than
I should have been. But yes, no, I am originally, I'm of the world because I'm a military brat, but I currently live in Baltimore, Maryland with my wife.
Yep.
And we're getting ready to move to Philly when she starts med school. So it'll be a good time.
Exciting.
Yeah, but I went to college in Maryland, went to grad school in Delaware, and then came back to Maryland.
Nice. All right, so next up, we are going to be putting 1 ounce of pineapple cordial. So this is actually homemade. I made this morning because in Canada, pineapple cordial doesn't exist. So I will post a recipe down in the description below. While you are down there, make sure you hit the thumbs up if you like the video. Clicking the subscribe button is always greatly appreciated. Make sure you hit the little bell notification too so that you never miss a thing.
Oh, they put some really nice comments down there.
Oh yeah,
I like that shirt.
All of those.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that's a nice shirt.
That's a Tabletop for the End of the World exclusive shirt.
Yeah, it's our year 1 t-shirt. We'll tell you more about that.
Yeah.
But, they're really nice.
Yum. We tried a little bit beforehand, and
it tastes so good.
So good.
It's very dangerous.
So good. So once we're done with the pineapple cordial, we are going to be opening up the Kraken. So we've got 1.5 ounces of Kraken. So it's a dark rum, which is amazing. So, whoop. Look at that floating on the top.
That looks so
Love
cool.
it. And when we're done that, then we're going to be going with Jim Beam Red Stag. So it's kind of like a cherry-ish kind of bourbon. Freaking amazing. I had never heard of this before you actually sent me this recipe, and I'm so glad you sent it to me because,
Absolutely.
oh, dude, So good.
So I can't at all take credit for this recipe. Fun fact, I'm on this show. I actually told Tom about this drink a year ago when we launched our podcast.
Yep. She's like, we have an official drink. I was just like,
and then literally a year to the date when that post was made, I'm here, which I didn't actually plan or expect. This was not like this is gonna happen. It just worked out that way.
But it's amazing.
Yeah, thank you, Facebook Memories.
Got good times.
Yeah, and so this drink was actually made. One of our cast members, Kevin Heil, he plays Vert, the gnome sorcerer. And his wife May also made our logo and designed the shirt. She is very Irish, and she was like, "I'm gonna make you all a custom mixed drink." And I was like, "Okay, I'll tell you what. We're either gonna reveal this when we get 100 iTunes reviews, or at our 1 year anniversary." So it worked out, and I thought, what better place to reveal it than on Tom's show, which is perfect. Yeah.
So we've got
this recipe's amazing.
1.5 ounces of this. So we're just gonna be pouring that right over top. Keeping that nice floaty bottom there with the melon. I'm just going to keep the lids off.
Absolutely. Make it easier for me.
Absolutely. So we have that. And then we've got a dash or two of lime juice. So do 2 dashes of yum lime juice. All right. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be filling it up with pineapple juice and equal parts ginger beer. So I'm doing this first, mix it right up, and then finish that off with ginger beer. And not quite finished, we have moonshine infused maraschino cherries. So we are using an awesome distillery based out of Stratford, Ontario called Junction 56. We are using their moonshine for this here. And how many, so we had 8. We each tried one a little bit beforehand.
So we have 6 left over.
So we have 6 in here.
3 each.
3
and
each.
Just go ham.
All right,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Let's do it. It's gonna happen. Or we're gonna go Canadian bacon because that's ham, right?
Canadian bacon.
Yeah. That's my new phrase while I'm
That
up here.
So, bloop, right down to the bottom.
Excellent.
Put that over there for you. And this is the first one of the end of the world.
Yeah. So what's really fun about this drink, and I guess I'll start.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so what's really fun about this drink is that it looks gross, and it's actually supposed to.
It actually doesn't even look that gross. Like when you sent it to me, you were like, oh, it kind of looks a little gross. I was just like, I don't really think it will, but okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't look as pretty as some other drinks. And the reason why is when May developed this drink, she's like, I want you to look and think the end of the world, but I want you to drink and think our podcast. I was like, that's lovely.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, right? Like, I want you to think we're all going to die and this is an existential crisis we're having. But damn if it doesn't taste good.
Absolutely.
That's what I like. You know, I will say this. Something about... Whoa! I know what I'm doing.
There's a bar mat here for a reason. It's all good.
All right. Bueno. One thing I like to think is that, you know, the world might be a dark place, but the darker it gets, the better entertainment it gets, because we're all just trying to escape.
True.
And I just want to add myself among that list of people who are just like, it's dark and scary, but wow, your show has given me, like, hope and joy and things to look forward to. Just kidding. I know what I'm doing. Can you all tell that I drink often and that I've made drinks before?
Yeah, because you said you generally don't drink super often.
I drink maybe once every 4 months. It's definitely not my go-to.
I feel honored.
You're very welcome. Yeah, I tend to be more of a Netflix and cuddle with my cat type of guy. Mm-hmm. People ask me, it's like, what do you want to do to relax? I'm like, yo, I can go for some french fries right now. Yeah. that's the life I'm living.
Now, question. Have you had a poutine since being up here?
I have not, because actually, in terms of diet, I'm actually vegan.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm hoping to find a vegan poutine, which I'm sure there is. I mean, it's 2019. I'm sure there's somewhere.
Now, what kind of cheeses are you able to eat?
Sure. So they actually make a wide variety of nut cheese. Which
really?
sounds really dirty
cool.
when you say it out loud.
Nut cheese? Yeah, that definitely sounds dirty.
But they make cheese out of cashews, out of
cool.
all kinds of things.
I guess just using like the basically like an equivalent of like almond milk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Just
Okay,
taking
cool,
it and
cool.
converting it into a cheese, and it's been really good. Really great brand for those of you. I don't know if you get it up here in Canada. It's called Miyoko's, and it's from New Jersey originally. It's finally made its way into Whole Foods and stuff.
Oh, nice.
So Miyoko's is a really great cheese brand. I highly recommend it for anybody who's thinking of transitioning to vegan, or even if you're just like lactose intolerant. I know a lot of like it's funny about allergies is that people are just like, oh, I can't have this because I'm very allergic and it'll kill me. And cheese lovers are like, life is but a short thing. We all die someday, and I will live it to the fullest. Well, if you want to have the enjoyment without the, can you curse on your show?
You can say fuck on this
Okay,
show.
awesome. I want.
It's 18 plus or 19 plus because you have to drink.
I want to enjoy it to the fullest without having the shits.
Yep.
Have some Miyoko's cheese, or find what's really great about veganism being more commonplace. And for whatever reason you go vegan's your reason.
Yep.
But it's just nice having the accessibility. I mean,
for sure.
I first went vegan when I got with my wife when we moved in together because it didn't make sense to buy separate food, and I was like, I'm gonna do it, and I'm not gonna make you switch up this lifestyle because you're a good person and I'm a terrible person. So I'm gonna try to be as good as you are. Still working on it.
Takes time.
I'm just like, hey babe, I did this awesome thing. She's like, I'm gonna be a doctor. Get your life together. I'm like, well, I don't. There's okay. I'm
working on it.
I make people smile on the internet.
That is a very, very valuable skill.
I'd like to think so.
It really is. Takes a certain kind of person.
Takes a certain kind of person. Maybe
It takes
somebody with a little bit of deep-seated resentment who needs constant validation, but it does.
Hey, but
and we
but
do
it works.
Awesome. Bueno, and then I'll add my maraschinos here.
Oh,
So
you get the ice.
this is just straight up.
That's just straight up maraschino cherries in moonshine.
This is just a thing of moonshine. Like if I were to drink this, I would die.
It would be very funny because you don't drink super often. So.
Yeah, no, it would be extremely entertaining.
We have sound effects.
Do I have to stir it as well?
It's totally up to you. I do have a bar spoon if you want.
Oh, hey.
Hey.
That's a fancy
So you can,
Or do I just twist it?
Yeah, you can twist it. Mix up all those little balls at the
So
bottom.
this is a lot of exciting stuff for me. Not only is this my first time in Toronto as an adult, and my first time fully guest spotting on a YouTube channel in person, not just shooting separately.
Yes.
It's my first time making a drink. I've never done that.
What?
Like a legit cocktail, not like a screwdriver.
Oh, man.
Like, oh look, vodka and orange
Okay.
juice. I'm a bartender. Like no, but like a full on. Like I took the steps, I measured it out.
What are these ridges?
I don't know. Like the only thing is I didn't get to do the shaky thing, but beyond that, like,
Don't worry,
it's
that's coming.
That's
in
coming.
next episodes, and once they're released, they'll have a card up in there. If you're watching this when it releases, there's probably nothing.
Yeah, that is
But
true.
it will eventually be up there. It's in this corner.
That little
So-
eye right there,
Right
you
here.
tap it. I haven't made a YouTube video in forever, but I remember how it works.
All right,
Awesome.
so guys, this is our end of the world.
It is the end of the world.
Cheers.
And I feel fine. Oh, that's dangerous. That's really good.
Mmm.
It goes down smooth, too.
The crazy part is that I can tell that the moonshine cherries, like it cuts it through, but not in like burn your throat kind of way.
It's like warm. It's
Yeah.
warm, but it doesn't burn.
Yeah.
No, May is absolutely brilliant.
Thank you very much, May.
Yeah, thank you, May. May is a cosplayer. Her Instagram is madself.cosplay. Brilliant cosplayer, beautiful human being. Pregnant with a baby right now.
Ooh, exciting.
I'm
We will have
so-
the details down in the description.
You'll
below
have the
as well.
details so you can stalk her and her child. And
Absolutely.
it'll be great. But no, absolutely, they are beautiful people, and Mitch and I are very fortunate to meet them, and
Nice.
Eliza and I are fortunate to have them in our lives. So that's
Absolutely.
great. Absolutely. Never having them make me drinks for St. Patty's Day again. It's terrifying. I now use, have you ever heard of the drink Irish Trash Can?
No.
I don't know what the recipe is, but I now use it for shorthand for any drink she makes. Like, I don't care if she pours me a glass of water.
Even this?
She didn't make it. That's what
okay,
I'm saying. Because what the mistake I made was the first time I went drinking with her for St. Patty's Day, she was like, "Do you want it like 50% strength?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that makes sense."
Sure.
Her version of 50 is very much not my like. You drink more often. I think her version of 50 is still not your version of 50. So the ongoing joke is I now use Irish Trash Can for anything she makes. Like a gin and tonic, it's an Irish Trash Can. Screwdriver, it's an Irish Trash Can. This is just scotch.
Amazing.
No, it's an Irish Trash Can. Don't
It is,
lie.
for sure.
What else did you put in there? But no, this is incredible.
It's
I'm going to
delicious.
keep sipping on this because
Mhm.
it's very pineapple-y.
It's
obviously,
tasty.
given the
I-
pineapple cordial and the
And you know what?
pineapple juice.
And the ginger beer cuts through it nice too.
Mm-hmm.
So so these are our drinks, and Amazing. Thank you again, May, for making these drinks.
Thank you. You're a goddess. I appreciate all the work you have done for us. You're a wonderful human being. If you guys want to have anybody make you any kind of graphic art, she has made our logo. And she's making our logo for our new show as well, which I can tell you about.
Exciting.
Yeah,
so we'll talk about the new show a little bit later, but why don't you tell us a little bit about Tabletop for the End of the World, kind of a brief summary on what it is and how it's different from your standard just D&D podcast.
Sure. And well, actually, you listen. You're a fan of the show.
I do.
Do you think
absolutely.
it's like different enough?
I definitely do, because there's the cool part, because there's the meta narrative, and then there's also the in-game antics.
Yeah.
So one thing that I found is it was a little bit tricky to kind of get into that, but I think it's like a lot of really good movies.
Yeah.
A lot of really good movies. You're not like. At least sometimes you're just thrown into things and it's just like, okay, here's where everything is. I really enjoyed that because it kind of forces you to pay more attention and listen to those specific details.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be like the Christopher Nolan of our world. You know?
Hey, it's really, really cool. Like I really like it. One thing that I really like in it is it's not just like your D&D podcast. Like there's a completely other world to it. So it's almost like a double story, which is really cool, because you see as you progress through the story, you see the character growth from the in-game characters and also the meta narrative characters as well.
Yeah. So I can tell you a little bit about where the idea came from and why it even started and all that good stuff.
So why don't you tell us about
the show?
About kind of what it is first, and then we can kind of dive into that.
So Tabletop for the End of the World is a Dungeons and Dragons podcast, but of course there are so many of those out there, and there's so many really good ones. And so in developing it, we realized like we have to set ourselves apart some way. And I brought the pitch to Mitch, who co-runs the show with me. He's our dungeon master for the show, and he's an excellent dungeon master. And the idea was, what if we added an extra story? Because the fact is, anyone playing D&D, they have their own stuff in life that they're dealing with. And they play D&D to distract, or maybe even some ways to process and deal with something.
To escape.
And there's always going to be things that you are dealing with in real life. And I wanted to capture that essence. But I didn't want to put our own dirty laundry out there at all. I didn't want to be like, oh, man, I got fired from my job, and I'm going to show it in this game. So I was like, what if we just showcase that? And so the idea is that you have a group of people living in this post-apocalyptic world that was ruined by capitalism. This taking the natural progression of late-stage capitalism, where profit is valued over human life, and taking it to its natural progression and end. So the entire meta-narrative, this outer apocalyptic world, is run by this company called the Potrebe Corporation. I make fun of Russia a lot. Potrebe literally means consume. So there's kind of a double meaning there. Consume as in to purchase, consume as in we're literally consuming your lives. And also, a fun note on that, a little bit of a spoiler for those of you who haven't listened. Every year around Thanksgiving, we have an event called Ohota, which is spelled O-X-O-T-A. Ohota means hunt in Russian. The idea is that the overseers running send their hunters out, and they literally hunt down survivors in the apocalypse and eat them. So they're consuming in that sense as well. And it's been really fun having, I write all the meta-narrative, and I co-write it alongside Mitch in the sense that I tell him, like, this is kind of where I intend to take the story. And he tries to implement it into the D&D. It hasn't been as represented in the first year of our show. We just celebrated our 1-year anniversary,
which is exciting.
So cheers to that. Cheers to that. Absolutely. So it hasn't quite been represented in the first year of our show. That's been more of the escape. That's world building. This is the world they live in. We're playing this game because we don't want to think about the world we're living in. There may be some references, like the big bad we're going for. His name is Master Portablack, which is clearly a reference. And the devil, Debilico, follows us around, works for a corporation. But beyond that, it hasn't really been a direct line. But now, getting into our second year running, we're getting into the things happening in the game are going to directly relate to what's happening in the meta-narrative, which is really cool. But in terms of developing the show, I just wanted to play D&D. At the end of the day...
It gives you a reason.
At the end of the day, so I'm a huge geek, obviously. I love video games, I love Marvel, I love all the things. And when Mitch got me, he's 3 years older than me, so he got me in the D&D my first year of college, his last year of college. We went to different colleges. And he was like, dude, do you want to play D&D? I was like, oh, I'm not that nerdy. I have a line. And he was like, yeah, but it's like improv. And my first year of college, I didn't get into any shows because they kept recasting the same people, which I'm not bitter about.
Because you went so what did you go to school for? Theater?
Theater.
Yep.
Yeah, I went to school for theater and English.
Yep.
And my first year of college, the first 2 shows they produced in the fall and winter were the exact same cast. Like, note for note, the exact same people.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a big thing in my theater department where they
Wow.
were like really mad at the director for doing that.
Well, yeah,
And
that's very restricted.
especially in a college. Like, I
Yeah.
understand if it was like
an actual like production,
Like Playhouse.
yeah.
But no, they did the exact same cast, and so I was like, I
That
guess I'm
sucks.
not going to be cast in anything.
Yeah.
And Mitch was like, oh, it's like improv, do it. And so we played Deadlands, which is an offshoot of Savage Worlds rulebook. Basically, like if Magic existed and the Civil War ended in a stalemate, and Abraham Lincoln was actually a zombie president. Really fun. And he got me hooked. And then this terrible person stopped playing after like we played 5 sessions, and it had been years. And I've been telling him, I was like, I want to play a game. I want to play a game. Just play with me. And he's like, oh, I'm busy, I don't have time. And I was like, fine, I'm gonna appeal to the narcissism you share with me. And so I was like, what if we made a show? And he was like, okay, I could be into this. And we started doing research. It's like, oh crap, there's like 50 billion D&D podcasts out there.
Yeah.
And they're all really great. But how do we set ourselves apart? And I was like, what if we make it more difficult? And that's kind of how we set ourselves apart at this point, is that our shows are just us experimenting with the storytelling narrative while finding an excuse to play tabletop games together.
Yep.
And it's been great. It's been exciting. I genuinely did not know it would blow up to what it's become today.
Yep.
We have...
You have an international following.
We have an international following. I mean, of course, we have fans in Canada, but
Yep.
that's north of us.
Like
But we have fans across the pond.
Yep.
We have fans in New Zealand.
Norway?
A lot of fans in Norway.
Yep.
Our fans in Norway actually hosted a listening party. And posted an Instagram photo, and they cosplayed, and that was really cool. So it's been incredible.
Yep.
I've also learned that international shipping is a lot more expensive than I thought. Because
Yes,
I wanted
it
to send
is.
them stuff, and I was like, I need to find a way to send it to you cheap, because I'm not going to make you pay $80
Yeah.
for
International
shipping. For
sucks.
shipping a poster. It was like a poster and a shirt. It was only like 2 boxes, and it was like $80 shipping. And I was
Woo!
like, can we
just not do that?
Yeah, it was bad. But it's been an absolute treat, and exploring the space and building the following we've got. One fan noted our show was like, and if you're familiar with these podcasts, and if you're not, you should
Check
listen
them
to
out. Yeah. Links are going to be down in the description.
Listen to
guys.
us first. But it's like the Adventure Zone and Welcome to Night Vale had a post-apocalyptic baby. And so every episode opens with a broadcast from our broadcast host, played by
From
Mitch's
Robin.
wife, Angelia.
Oh, okay.
Here's a fun little tidbit for you. Robin's name is spelled with a Y.
Yep.
And
That's actually the spelling that I like the most.
Yeah, and it's actually taken off the Russian word Robinya. You know what that means?
Nope.
It means slave.
Oh, crazy! So
Yeah.
you got like a lot. Like that's one thing that I really like about your show is that it's so well thought out.
Oh, yeah, we actually know how the show's going to end.
Yep.
And it's not going to end for like 3 years
Yep.
because of how much we have laid out right
Yep.
now. And it's been really exciting. We've had, and it's really funny too, because we've had some stuff just change as we're going.
Yes.
Minor things
Yep.
like name pronunciations or like
Yeah.
words, just because of like miscommunication with the recording artist. It's just like, here's a fun one. Capitan Laurent.
Mhm.
His name was Capitan Laurent in his first introduction.
Really?
Yeah, because he's named for the guy who made our theme song. His
Okay.
name is Kevin Garral, and so we took Garral and we flipped it to Laurent.
Nice.
And at some point, after the first time she recorded it, Angelia started recording Laurent, and I was like, you just kept doing it, and you canonically changed the character's name. You have too much power. And that's been really fun to play with. But beyond that, everything is planned out and thought really thoroughly. And it's really funny because for me growing up, I always thought like writers don't think that much about their writing. You know, sometimes a cloud is just a cloud. And now writing this show, I'm like, oh no, I'm thinking
That
all the things. Actually, you just in the recent episode, they are laying out the coordinates of the city they're living in.
Yes.
There's an Easter egg in that too.
Really?
Would you like to know it, or would you like to figure it out?
Off air, so we don't want to spoil.
Okay. Well,
no spoilers.
It's really just an Easter egg.
Okay.
Like it has nothing
Sure.
to do with the
Yeah.
show as a whole.
Lay it on us.
Okay, so
Let us
the
into all the
city,
secrets.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is really fun. In the United States, the best place to own a business is Delaware.
Really?
Wilmington, Delaware, because they don't have as much taxes on businesses there.
Okay.
And so a lot of businesses you'll find have their main corporate office in Delaware. All the
Interesting.
coordinates are locations in Wilmington, Delaware.
Nice.
And it's not specific locations,
Yeah.
but it's just like, this is northern Wilmington, this is
Yeah.
southern Wilmington, eastern. And like,
That's pretty cool.
I put the work into doing that, and like all my cast members were like, no one's gonna get that. And I was like, but I'll get it. And
you
somebody
know what,
is gonna overthink it enough and figure it out. They're
Yep.
gonna wonder. And like, that's the stuff I love.
Yep.
I more than just fans who are just like, oh my god. I mean, I love all our fans, obviously, but like the people who overthink things,
Yeah.
and they're like, this could have meaning, and this could have meaning.
Mhm.
And sometimes people figure it out, and I'm like, ooh, yes. And some people are like, oh no. Like right now in the show, spoiler alert, Mitch has a secret correspondence with someone,
Mhm.
and someone figured out who it was, and I don't want to spoil it, but and he was like, oh man, he figured it out? Was I not sneaky enough? Damn, that's all right.
That's good
freaking
though. You should, yeah. Like
Yeah,
you're
I'm really nursing it. I'm gonna.
that's good though. Like it's feeling good. It's got a good kick to it. I really like it. It's a good one.
Yeah, I don't drink that much, so by the end of this video, I'm gonna be a treat for all of
That'll be fun.
It's gonna be good. It'll be good. I'm gonna be dancing.
Feet dancing.
I'm already ridiculous
Foot
sober,
loose.
so when I drink, it just adds to it.
It's even better.
Actually, when I drink, normally, if I get drunk, I become daddy. Not in the daddy. So the first time I drank,
Dungeon Daddy.
I was throwing. We're gonna get a T-shirt made. It's gonna be great.
Absolutely.
But the first time I drank, it was I was throwing a party,
Mhm.
and so I was the host, and so it kind of established this tone for me that when I drink, I'm gonna be very considerate, and being like, "Hey, how you doing? Do you need a blanket? Are you good? You should stay hydrated." And for me, consent's already very important.
Yep,
Like as a person.
absolutely.
When I'm
I
drunk,
think that's super important to eat whether you're drinking or not.
when I'm drunk, it's taken to its natural extreme, though. Like, I'll go up to people, and I'm messed up, and I'll be like, can I have a hug? It's really important you say I can have a hug. And if you don't, it's okay. Like, I don't need to have a hug. And they'll be like, you can have a hug. I'm like, but are you sure?
are you sure?
Are you saying it because you feel bad?
Let me get
Or
the app
can
and
I
make
give
sure
you a
that
hug?
you both give consent.
Yeah. But that's important. I feel like if more people were like that when they drank,
Yeah.
it'd be like a real cuddly world.
Well, yeah.
Consensual cuddles.
Yeah,
you know?
instead of the like brawling fistfights that a lot of booze is known for.
Yeah.
Fortunately, ours isn't. So
Ours is, yeah.
it's good.
This is not. This is just known for the world ending. That's
So
delicious.
I have some fun interview questions for you because they're
I feel
exciting.
so grown up.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So, Jemarc, what was the first video game you ever played?
The first one that I remember playing?
Well, I guess yes.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense. The first video game I ever played. Okay, it was definitely on the N64. No, it wasn't.
N64.
Just kidding. It was not. It was Pokemon Red version, but the Japanese one.
Ooh,
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
So, Game Boy, nice.
Yeah, I played all my first Pokemon games in Japanese because they
Nice.
didn't have American version, and I didn't realize America didn't have a green version.
Oh, at the time, like
Yeah,
for Red,
the-
Blue, and Yellow.
Oops.
No, it's okay. I'm
Yeah.
just moving the carpet.
Okay, so Western they don't have a green version, and I remember I
Interesting.
tell people it's like and then they call it yellow version in the West. In Japan, it's called Pikachu version.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I started
Crazy.
on red version, and then I was like, but I can't get all the starters, and then Pikachu version came out, and I lost my goddamn mind. I was like,
I can get all the
"Ah!"
starters!
Yes, and Pikachu follows me and it makes faces. Like I think to this day, one of my favorite Pokemon games is Soul Silver. Because
Nice.
I can have the Pokemon follow me, and that's literally all I cared about.
Have you played Let's Go Eevee or Let's Go Pikachu?
I have, and I'm disappointed in it.
Really?
I don't like the gameplay. Like I love
Well,
the idea.
it's just like Pokemon Yellow.
well, it
like for
is-
the most part.
It
Like
is,
this.
but the capture mechanic, the fact that I can't just destroy a bunch of Pokemon to level up, it got more.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I have Pokemon Go. I want to
Yep.
play Pokemon Go when I play Pokemon Go.
Yep.
They literally could have made the same game with upgraded graphics
Yep.
with Pokemon following you. Like, I want to ride an Arcanine, but I can't get past the fact that I just have to capture all these Pokemon to level up. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
It's definitely different. Like, I mean, there's pros and cons. I really enjoyed it. One thing that I love, especially because I have like a 2.5-year-old, I can play the entire game with one hand.
True.
That is super critical because I'm like, okay, you need to not be like falling on your head.
That's fair.
So
That's love right there.
that's one thing that I really like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Maybe
cool.
maybe I'll give it another chance. I'm excited for Sword and Shield. Though.
Me too. What one are you
See,
doing?
I'm already Sword and Shield.
La, 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 la.
I don't drink, friends. This is a good day.
Which one are you planning on getting, Sword or Shield?
I'm actually getting the double pack.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and the
Getting
reason why,
both.
if my wife decides she wants to play at some point,
Yep.
like this is the critical time of free time for us. or for her specifically.
Yep.
She's getting ready to start med school next fall.
Yep.
And so this is like this is my chance to like really up her geek game.
Yep.
When it's not having to do with medicine.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, I can get someone into medicine. I can get somebody into geeky stuff. Getting me into medicine requires a lot more thinking than I am capable of. So
fair enough. That's fair.
It's a nice trade. She's great with sci-fi. Siffy.
I love it.
She got me into Star Trek. That's
Nice.
what love is.
Love it. What is the first video game you ever beat?
The first video game I ever
It doesn't have to be like 100%,
beat.
but like beat the end boss.
Yeah, beat the end boss. I want to say... Wow, what was the first video game I ever beat? It actually wasn't Pokemon, surprisingly. Like you would think so.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. Shoot. Jemarc, remember things, but drink more alcohol. Okay. The first video game I want... You know what? This is the one that keeps popping in my mind. I'm going to say Suikoden 2.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love the Suikoden series. Konami has done nothing but disappoint me for years now. Like, they gave us Suikoden, they gave us Hideo Kojima. I've never played a Metal Gear Solid game, but I got respect for Kojima's work. And then Suikoden, they just don't make more Suikoden games, and they're amazing.
Yeah.
And Suikoden have you ever played Suikoden at all?
No, I've seen it though.
It plays a little bit like Pokemon in the sense that like you have characters to collect.
Yep.
But what I love about it is just like every character they made a point to give a backstory.
That's important. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty important.
And I'm a big believer. I'm a bit of a completionist when I play video
Yep.
games. It's
Yep.
why I generally stay away from open world games, which I have a great story about that. But it's why I generally stay away from open world games. And if you collect they're called 108 Stars of Destiny. So if you
Okay.
collect all 108 characters in any Suikoden game,
Yep.
you get the full ending of the game. And
Ooh, that's exciting.
I'm a big believer in perks. If you add extra
Absolutely.
content, there should be perks for it.
For sure.
As far as open world games go, I finally played Skyrim for the first time.
Yep.
When it came out on Switch.
Yep.
The reation why I don't play open world games is because I get really passionate and into things. It's why I'm a content creator, because I get really into it.
Absorb
I
the
was
life.
level 50.
Yep.
I filled up the entire map. I gained my werewolf powers. I had a bunch of spells and all that stuff. Didn't have my first shout ability. Literally, I'm playing through the game and it was just, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh,
Yep.
piece of candy.
Yep.
Ooh, what this do? Oh, what that do? Oh, what did what this do? Oh, what did what that do? And the entire thing. And then I'm talking to my brother-in-law and I'm like, hey, you love Skyrim, right? He's like, yeah. And I was like, when do I get the shout ability?
Yeah.
He's like, in the first chapter.
Yeah.
I was like, so I'm level
I've been
50.
doing like all the side quests.
I'm like, I'm level
Shit,
50.
I should go through the
shit
main
you
story.
not. Because the Skyrim re-release on Switch had all the DLC in it,
Yes.
I literally killed the Emperor and didn't have my shout ability. I was like, I killed the Emperor, but I don't have the shout ability.
Can't do this yet.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it was incredible. Also, that's also my complaint about Skyrim. Is
Fair
that
enough.
you can kill the Emperor and it has no impact on the world.
And that's I don't like that. Like,
Yeah.
what did you think of Fable? Did you ever play Fable?
The first one. I
Yes.
love Fable. I tried
Fable
the second
1, Fable 2. Fable 2 is good.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good as the first one.
It just made me
Fable 3,
nauseous.
I was very disappointed.
Yeah, Fable 2 actually made me nauseous.
Really?
Because of whenever it would slow down for crits.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
a very methodical player,
Yep.
so I always try to go for the most damage.
Yep.
And it would just be like... And I'd be like, alright, I feel like puking.
Yeah.
This is not bueno.
Have you ever
and
played Bayonetta?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Bayonetta.
See, that one's fine, because
It's so
when it
good.
slows down, Bayonetta's still moving in normal time.
Correct.
But I beat both games.
Yep.
Yeah. Love it. I can't wait for Bayonetta 3.
Mhm.
Pam Horton for Bayonetta voice acting. Pamela Horton was Playboy's go-to video game Playboy bunny.
Interesting.
And so she didn't necessarily do like Playboy stereotypical shoots. She
Yeah.
was just like, I'm gonna play video games. I'm a Playboy bunny. This is great.
It's a win for all
she
of us.
has a cosplay she did as Bayonetta from the second game with short
Oh
hair.
shit, that's cool.
Which is amazing. Actually, she also looks like in certain photos looks like she could be my wife's twin, which is funny.
Crazy.
Yeah, every
kinda-
time I
that's
see a
pretty
photo,
solid.
I show it to Eliza.
She's
She's
like,
like, and she's like, this is weird, and I'm like, it is weird, but look.
But look, it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so Pam Horton. I'm just gonna do shout outs this whole video. My words are slurring. This is good.
What was the first video game, if any, that have ever made you rage quit?
Radiata Stories.
So give us like a 15-second as to how that happened.
I can't tell you what Radio Stories is about. Like, I saw that question, and I was like, I know exactly which one. So Radiata Stories, I don't know what it's about, but I can tell you this game does not have a good functioning minimap. I spent 3 hours in a castle trying to find one room.
Yeah.
I never found the room. And I was so lost that, and this is a whole other story. My brother went out to get groceries, and we just moved to Maryland.
Yep.
And my mom was taking a nap, so he went out to get groceries. 3 hours later, my mom comes in, and he goes, "Where's your brother?" I was like, "Oh, he left like 30 minutes ago to get groceries." Because I was so lost that time did not pass normally for me. Come to find out, he was gone for 3 hours and was walking along the highway because he got lost.
Oh, shit.
And my mom was like, "We don't know where your brother is." And I'm like, "I don't know what's happening." My brother came home soaking in sweat, carrying like a bunch of
How old was your brother?
He's 5 years older than me. I was in 8th grade. So
okay, so he was like
he was like 19. Yeah.
Okay. So that I'm thinking this like 10-year-old kids.
No.
Just
He was like 19,
touring up the highway.
But like, yeah, my mother, I love you, Mom. Actually, she's an anxious, caring woman, and we just moved there.
Yeah.
So when your brother just disappears,
yeah, you go into panic mode.
But I was just like, I don't know, he was gone for 30 minutes. No, 3 hours.
Love it.
And in fact, the game is really rare. It's like it sells for a good chunk of money.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's a terrible game. I don't know why people would want to pay so much for it.
Maybe there wasn't as many made?
Maybe.
Possibility?
Maybe. But, like, even for stuff there's not as many made, you would think that, like... I don't know, maybe I was just young and I couldn't appreciate it. Maybe I need to come back and play it. But I was
But
lost.
maybe there's no point, because you spent 3 hours in a castle.
Tom, in a castle. All the rooms, they weren't labeled. The design of the mini-maps was the exact same thing. If I can find a clip, I will send it to you so you can overlay this part of the video and just, like, have a shot of these. Like, I don't
Just
know.
crying.
It was bad.
Amazing.
It was not fun.
PC or console?
I'm definitely more of a console game. Yeah, definitely more. I've been getting more Steam games only because it makes streaming more efficient. Because I do stream once a week.
Yes, console streaming is very, very difficult. If you guys have seen any of my streams, you'll understand.
Yeah, it's extremely difficult to stream on console games, especially because like the PS4 remote, as soon as you plug the headphones in, your computer will no longer record the audio from the game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either you can't hear what's happening, and for my streams, I stream strictly horror games right now.
Yeah, so you definitely need to know what's going on.
So I can't do that, or else it removes all the me freaking out or Twilight freaking out deal of it all.
Yeah, so we don't want to do that.
Yeah, so I just got Resident Evil 7. I'm going to stream on my PC with that for the first time.
Nice.
I did stream Stanley's Parable the other day.
Okay, I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, so it's really great. It's a storytelling game. Literally all you do is walk.
Okay.
But you can choose to listen to or not listen to the narrator, and it changes how it plays. It's an indie game.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
It's a lot of fun. A lot more freaky than I remember.
There's a lot of really cool indie games around.
Oh, I love indie. Indie is one of my favorite genres.
Yep.
Because it's really passionate people who aren't afraid to take risks.
Yes.
Because they don't have to worry about maintaining, which I think is incredible and wonderful. Some of my favorite indie games, Cuphead, of course.
Yep.
This is not really an indie game, but they produced it like an indie game. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is really good. It's made by the same people who made Heavenly Sword.
Oh, wow.
If you ever played that for
I've
the
heard
PS3.
of it,
And it's about a woman with severe schizophrenia fighting her way to the depths of whatever... Hela, right? That's the Nordic version of hell.
Yes.
Yeah, to the depths of Hela to save her husband. And the entire time you're playing, this game is best played with headphones. You hear voices coming from each ear.
Yep.
And
I love when games do that, because it's just that extra layer of like, okay, I'm playing with headphones on, like I can hear it back here and not over there, so I know that it's got to go there.
Yeah, and what I love about the game is the developers. It was made by Ninja Theory.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
nice.
the developers. I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong, please don't hate me. The developers did their research and did a whole documentary about mental health and mental illness. And
that's awesome.
At the conclusion of the game, not to spoil the ending, but the conclusion of the game presented this idea of like, you don't have to be ashamed for having a mental illness, and having a mental illness does not make you a monster.
Yep.
And it was an extremely healthy perspective, especially for something that's been demonized in media for so long.
Absolutely.
So I'm about it. I'm very about mental health.
Same.
So it's real important.
Yep.
Maybe I'll come back to Gamers Guide and do another mental health month or something.
Well,
That's the last thing I did.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're... Yeah, and I'd love to fucking be on that. That'd be super fun.
To Baltimore or Philly, depending on where I'm living at the time.
We'll make it happen. Worst case scenario, we can figure out online.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I'm tipsy.
It'll be good. What's your favorite character that you've ever built and the game? And specifically, Tabletop.
Okay. I was like, ever built in the game? Lego Warriors.
Specifically Tabletop.
Oh, that's hard.
So start with the game.
Okay.
Well, I guess start with the character, because the game will come after.
Will it be separate from the show. Like
no, you can if your favorite character is Twilight.
Twilight is such a sweet little dumpling muffin. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the thing about Twilight is when we were creating the show, representation is extremely important to me.
Yes,
as a person of color, as somebody who identifies as demisexual, which I just learned because we are not represented.
Woo!
Yep. And just as somebody who cares about humans, and but I'm very cisgendered, and so when making Twilight, I was like, I want to make a character that represents the non-binary, gender-fluid community.
Yep.
And so I did a lot of research, and by research I mean I read a lot of articles.
Yep.
About. I watched shows where they did it poorly. I watched shows where they did it well.
Yep.
One of my biggest concerns when developing Twilight was like, do I have the right to play this character as a cisgendered person?
Yep.
And what I found was like, I'm not a big studio. Like, that was the biggest thing. Is like, I can't afford to pay anyone. I'm not paying anyone.
Yep.
Except our artists.
Yep.
And so I was like, I guess it's okay. And I talked to a lot of my non-binary friends, and they're like, literally, just make sure they're a person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And really, like, that's ultimately what it comes down to is just be a person. Yeah. Yes, there might be certain ways that they handle interactions differently.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're just as human as you and I.
Yeah, right? Exactly. And so I will say that my favorite character ever made was Twilight. So you'll have to listen to the podcast, but I'll do a little thing. Twilight is this adorable tiefling bard who's...
Sorry, who? Because I need to hear Twilight.
Oh, yeah, so hold on. Hi, I'm Twilight. I'm a tiefling and I'm a bard. And people tell me I'm gender fluid, but I don't think it really matters. And I like to play music and bring joy to the world. And hi, I'm Twilight's candidate, I promise. We're just waiting for the deal to come through.
Can I be your best buddy?
You can be my best buddy. Yes. We'll be the bestest buddies, except for Debelica. She's the bestest supreme buddy.
Well, I mean, she came first, so I can understand.
That makes sense.
She should always come first.
Exactly, but I still love you. Yeah, so Twilight, anytime Twilight gets harmed within the context of the show is because they're trying to make friends with something. And then it'll
Which I love, because you're just like, oh, there's a giant monster. I need to make friends with you.
It's made our Dungeon Master very mad, because he'll present situations where he doesn't want us to engage. And I'm like, I'm going to engage.
100%, that's your character.
Yep. And so at one point, I hugged this demon and it hurt me with his tentacles. And Twilight's immediate response was like, oh, I'm sorry. Sometimes friends don't like being hugged. And that's okay. It's just like the most endearing response to being harmed ever. And Twilight's so Twilight's my favorite character. Nice. I think my favorite game I've ever played. So I'll say as a DM and as a player.
Yeah, sure.
As a player, I really love Deadlands.
Okay.
And maybe, you always remember
Is that, I was just going to say, is that because that's what you played first?
Yeah, but I love it because the rule set's really simple. I also love it because the dice can explode. So So for those of you who don't know, exploding dice is you roll a 20, a nat 20 or a nat 6 or whatever dice system you're working with, you get to roll again. And you get to add up as long. And the best moment I ever had was I nat 20'd. This was the game that Mitch ran for me.
Yep.
And we're playing the game, and it's this particular session is taking place at a brothel.
Okay.
The brothel is taken over by headless zombies. Now, picture that in your head. You kill zombies.
Were they naked?
No, they were not. But you kill zombies. Well, maybe. You kill zombies by hitting them in the head. But these are headless zombies. How do you kill them? Turns out that they are just.
Slice them in half?
Turns out they're being manipulated by some witch demon. So I killed the demon.
Yep.
Came back to the brothel, rolled a nat 20 on persuasion. Managed to convince him that in her dying breath, she gave me the brothel. And the reason why I succeeded was because my rolls exploded. So that was incredible. Even then, my character was a very selfish, greedy criminal. I set up those prostitutes very nicely. I was like, girls,
you took care of them pretty well.
I had a lot of money, so I was like, girls, I'm gonna set you up right. I'm gonna get you some defense. You want to get an education? You get an education. You want to go
take care of it.
Yeah, I took good care of my people. I was like, look, you send me a small percentage. That's all I care about. Send it my way whenever one all travels. But you all get to live your life. You know what? Women are gonna be in charge of this brothel still. I'm just here to take a little bit and give you the protection you need.
Love it.
Yeah, no, I had a lot of fun in that game. I had these dice that Mitch hated because I always rolled nat 20.
Were they like? Did you know if were they intentionally weighted?
No.
No. Okay.
No, these were some basic, just like this.
Yeah.
They were green and gold, which was my high school colors because that was around when I started.
Are they kind of like the ones that were in there that I showed you? I don't think I showed you. I got ones from Fan Expo that were green and gold.
So they're green like this and then speckled with gold.
Oh, okay, cool.
Might be similar.
Yep.
But yeah, they're my special dice. They've lost their magic sense. I haven't used them in a while, so they've been retired.
Yep.
But yeah,
Nice.
that I will say that. And then my favorite game I've ever run. Actually, I'll say our new show.
TFEW.
Which is
the new
show,
one. Yep.
because I'm actually the DM for that. Or Edmund is the DM, which
Mhm.
I can tell you about that at some point. For
Yep.
sure.
Absolutely. We'll
This
get into
is-
that. Don't worry.
Hitting me, Tom.
So speaking of strengths of booze, what's your what's your typical go-to alcoholic drink?
Okay. My wish is Melon Ball, but not all places know how to make it or have the liqueur for it.
Fair.
So otherwise, I'm really basic. I just go for a gin and tonic, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, really simple. And the main reason why I do it is because it's hard to mess up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like literally, if we're talking safety, if we're not talking safety, and I'm out, and it's one of the few times I decide to go clubbing.
Yeah.
A hurricane,
Nice.
and that's because
Good
of the
choice.
show Archer.
Yep. Good choice.
Bring me another hurricane, like literally just for that. Like
Nice.
I tried a hurricane because my entire life is informed by memes and pop culture.
Like many of us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm a millennial.
Love it. So, question: if you had to transform into either Yoshi or Luigi, which would you choose?
Oof. See, that's hard. So
It's a
here's the
very
thing.
hard question. It's
Growing
designed
up-
to be hard.
Growing up and playing party games like Mario
Mhm.
Party or Mario Tennis or whatever, I would
Yep.
always play as Yoshi.
Bam!
Like Yoshi
Me
Yoshi
too,
was the
man.
baddie.
Absolutely.
But if we're talking about just like quality of life, probably Luigi. He gets a mansion.
But it's haunted.
Yeah, but he cleans out the ghosts.
True.
He gets a mansion. He gets the girlfriend. There's a theory
Eventually.
that Game Theory did that said that he actually ended up having Rosalina with Princess Peach. That's a whole other thing.
That'd be pretty
But I don't know.
interesting.
Luigi is just like this tall, good boy, and he's just
Alright.
he's just trying to live his life. And like a lot of people are like, oh, he's jealous of his brother. I was like, no, man, he really admires his brother. And
Yeah.
I'm a younger brother myself.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm the
And
youngest.
yeah,
youngest,
and so
two
like
older brothers.
I can understand it. And honestly, Mario donkey punches the dinosaur and then murders him sometimes. And I don't want to be about that life.
All right, good. to
Yeah,
know.
exactly. So I'll say to play in a video game Yoshi, but to be in real life Luigi.
All right, good choice.
Yeah.
So while you're either GMing, which is Game Master, or DMing, which is Dungeon Master,
Dungeon Daddy.
if you Dungeon Daddy, if you could only choose either perfect music for every situation, including background and ambient music,
Does that include sound effects as well?
yes,
Okay.
or perfect props, so maps, minis, items, lighting. Which
Okay.
one of those would you choose?
I would actually choose perfect props.
Interesting.
And here's
okay.
even though I do an audio format, sometimes I feel like with the visual it can really help you immerse yourself.
Yes.
And it's hard remembering where your character is in relation
Mhm.
to every other character.
Yep.
Actually, College Humor has started doing this really great show called Dimension 20,
Yes.
where they do props,
Mhm.
and here's the thing. I'm lazy, so I would never go out of my way to build props for a game, because I'd rather just play the game and then doodle some shit.
Yep.
But if I had like the production value and the money, hell yeah, I'd fuck with some props. Like that
Alright.
would be incredible. I would love to offer that for my players, but we also all play remotely, so there's not really a
that's very true.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, true. What do you find the most difficult part of role playing, especially something like a character like Twilight?
Staying true to the character.
Yes.
Hands down. Twilight's go-to is to be friends with everyone
Mhm.
and make decisions that are the best for their friends and all that stuff. And Jemarc, I mean, I'd like to think I'm a pretty loving person, but I'm not so obscenely obtuse about it.
Yeah. fair.
And I'd like to think that, especially a year out, Twilight has experienced some character growth. There was that spoiler. There was that really great moment with Gerhardt running back to her mom.
Yep.
And the thing is, I feel like I am Twilight, and I've gotten to the point where the decisions I'm making are still true to Twilight because they're growing as a person.
Yep.
So like when they're like, we can't do it, like I was surprised I made that decision.
Yep.
But it felt right.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
And it's I will say it's definitely a learning curve.
Yeah.
And this is specifically in terms of playing a character. Yeah. So
Yep.
it is a learning curve. I really loved my character I played in the Deadlands game, which is the first game I ever played, because he was just a
First one, yeah.
well, he was a selfish, greedy prick. So in Deadlands and Savage, I think Savage Worlds runs the same. You have to take 2 perks, like major or minor perks. So 2
Yep.
major perks, and then a hindrance and a fear.
Okay. Yep.
And so my character's hindrance was he was greedy
Mm-hmm.
and alcoholic, and then his fear was the fear of losing alcohol. I
Okay.
managed to turn all of that into perks.
Perfect.
Because I would just play him like, I'm going to look out for me.
Yep.
I'm gonna look out for number 1. And sometimes I make a decision, and Mitch as the DM would be like, but is that greedy? I'm like, look, I'm playing the long game here. I know exactly how this will benefit me later on. So, like, I made it work.
Yep.
And so I think the other thing is making sure... Because I feel like this is the difference between new players and seasoned players.
Yeah.
As new players, you want to make the really awesome, badass, this is who I want to be, this is whatever.
Yep.
And then for seasoned players, I play one of 2 ways. Either make ridiculously absurd characters. Like, I did Adventures League. I played a full-sized... I was an orc. Yeah, a full-sized orc rogue.
Nice.
And I put all his stats... I put all his stats in the sneaking. I rolled a nat 20 at some point and hit his full body behind a gnome. I don't know how.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
It was like he just erased his presence. He was literally standing there, but it worked. Or I play flawed characters and
Yep.
I explore the flaws. And
Those are usually the most fun.
yeah, I like embracing failure, and I like what it can bring to the game for fun. And I will say this for Dungeon Masters: the biggest tip I can give you: leave the fear of your character may die, because consequences makes it worth it.
Yes.
But don't hold it over your players' heads
Constantly.
because then they'll be afraid of making tough choices.
Yep.
Like, it should be there because
Or ballsy choices.
or ballsy
too,
choice. Like,
you know?
the most interesting is the rule of cool.
Yes.
You know, like,
Yep.
the best rules you can ever get in any tabletop game is a crit success or a crit fail, and
Yep.
I will stand by that.
Yep.
And if your DM is holding, like, failure over your heads, you're only going to roll the moves that you have.
Yep.
That you know you have more of a chance of succeeding.
Yeah, you're never going to take risks and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And some of the best moments we've had in the show was me being dumb.
Yep.
And also using prestidigitation very creatively, extremely creatively. I think we've broken some rules, but
Probably, but you know, it's really cool. You know, I mean, like if it
Yeah.
fits in the story and if it's gonna enhance what's going on, yeah, go for it.
Well,
I mean, like unless it's like completely just like impossible.
Well, that's one of the benefits of our show as well,
Mhm.
is that within the context of it being at the end of the world and the apocalypse,
Yep.
we said this in episode 1, and this was very, very intentional. Some of the pages are missing. Is that okay? We set up a way for us to break all the rules with no consequences.
Yep.
If anyone is a real stickler
Like,
for the
I
D&D rules and like a purist, you might not enjoy the show.
Yeah.
But also, if you're a D&D purist, are you really enjoying D&D?
Well, and that's the other thing too. Like, I mean, one thing that I really like is like playing. So I play like 5th edition. I like playing like along those rules, but having homebrew
yeah.
mixed in with that. So
absolutely.
it's still in the realm. So that way it's not like, I mean, like it's not like D&D is a box like this. Like D&D is like a box like
It's a big old
huge.
sandbox. It's a beach.
And I mean, one of the things that I love is like I love creating items, and that's actually one thing that I've created for that I submitted on for Tabletop for the End of the World is the cat hat. I love that. So
actually, I'll just tell you. I don't know if you're going to keep this in the video or if the episode will come out beforehand. The cat hat's in the show.
ooh,
Twilight has it.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
I love it.
We haven't used it yet, but we just got it because we had to backlog a few episodes
Yep.
before I made this trip.
Yep.
But yeah, the cat hat's in the show.
That's awesome.
It's a thing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so take a look at that. When that episode launches, I will definitely have it in the description down below. And when it's on YouTube, I'll make sure to put a card right up in there, so make sure to check that out, guys.
Yeah, so we're releasing all of our episodes on YouTube as well, for anyone who, for whatever reason, doesn't use a podcast player. The reason why those are slower uploading is we're having our in-house artist make thumbnails for all
Specifically
of them.
for that.
Specifically for that. And so that takes time.
Takes time.
He has a life, which is important, I'm told.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. I'm really messed up right now.
It's
Tom,
okay.
I'll be
That's,
honest.
that's all right.
So true. Okay.
Do you have a favorite set of dice?
Yes.
Why are they your favorite set of dice?
Honestly, it's because they're Twilight colored.
Okay, that's
yeah,
that's a
it's
good
because they're
reason.
Twilight colored, and it's because they haven't let me down.
Nice.
So much so that they're cursed.
All right.
I tend to go with the colored dice that I feel reflects my character.
Mhm.
Now, as a seasoned player,
Yep.
I think when I was a new player, I didn't know what I was doing, so I picked colors. I was like, oh, this is my school colors. And so I have like blue and gold dice from my undergrad.
Yep.
And also, funnily enough, my grad school happen to have the same school colors.
Perfect.
And then I have these green and gold dice, and then the Twilight color dice are just purple and blue, I want to say, or purple. And,
Okay.
Yeah, purple and red. There's purple in there.
Yeah.
There's Twilight colors.
Awesome. What's the best part about being a content creator?
I met a fan for the first time, like in person.
Hi, man.
Which was, hey, how's it going? No, but we did a live show at this convention called BlurredCon, which stands for the Black Nerd Con, and it takes place in DC, Virginia area.
Yep.
And it was the first time we ever set up a table in like Artist Alley.
Nice.
And this wonderful human being, her name is Monica, or her Instagram is Mo_the_superhero.
Nice.
Really great person, was cosplaying as Tifa. Like literally ran up to our table and was like, I knew you were here. I was looking for you. And I'm just sitting there, and I was sick that day.
Yeah.
And I was like she was in a fog, and I was like, I love you, but I feel like crap. And it was just, it's surreal knowing I've never had like a fan walk up to me.
Yeah.
You know, there are people you collaborate with, and we've been friends for a long time, even before TFEW started.
Yep.
But like meeting someone who I don't know from Adam, who's like, I listen to your show and I love it, and being like really into it. I mean, it's incredible.
Absolutely.
I also like being a content creator because I like having the freedom to express in the way I want to.
Yes.
I think with my old videos and my old content I used to make before I was a more confident human being, I would let myself get too bogged down by criticism. And you have to learn to take criticism where you can and leave it.
Yes.
And so, like with this show, for example, we've had some fair criticism. Some people are like, hey, the audio quality could be better. We're like, great, we're working on building up the funds to get better mics.
Yep.
I'm learning a lot about audio editing, great.
It takes time.
Yeah, and then some people will be like, oh, the rules suck. And I'm like, well, we set that on day one, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, this doesn't make sense story-wise. Like, but you don't know the full
story's
story.
not, yeah, I was going to say, like, the story's not over yet.
Yeah,
so.
you don't know everything's happened. I don't give a shit. And so it's really just finding, like, the criticism that's worth listening to and the criticism that's not.
Yeah.
But I love experimenting. I love growing.
Yep.
And this isn't my first content I've made. I mentioned it earlier. I used to have a YouTube channel called Gamer's Guide, where I taught philosophy using video games as the medium. So I was applying literary analysis to video games because that's
pretty
what
cool. Check it out. It's up in this card right here.
That's what my major was in. If you guys want me to make more, let me know. Eventually, I'll have time. And then I also made short films with a production company that ran very shortly called Troll House Productions. That was also co-founded with Mitch and I.
Nice.
And then I had I'm also a dancer. I haven't choreographed in a while, but I love doing that too. So really just creating and being able to express that side of myself has been very healing.
Nice.
And I've gotten better at, and I think that's the hardest part for any content creator is making sure I'm not too hard on myself.
That's you're always you're always going to be your toughest critic. Yeah. No matter what. Yeah. No matter what.
My pro tip for anyone out there who wants to content create, and I've actually told Tom about this, save all your first videos. Don't delete them. First off, for anyone who's a true fan, they'll want to see where you started. Yep. Secondly, for you as a creator...
Sometimes it's really bad, like this one.
Really bad.
Right up in here. If you want to see some cringe, it's right there.
It's perfect.
Super
right
bad.
There. Such cringe, much wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but what's really great about about being content creators and in a world where like content is so permanent now, is you can look back. And and here's a pro tip for anyone watching this and who's thinking of creating content or has been doing it for a while and you're feeling insecure. Look back with these two lenses. One, with an appreciation of where you are now. Like, don't compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to where you used to be.
Yes.
Always. In terms of art creation. Yeah. If you're like homeless now, that might be hard. But then how would you be watching this video?
True.
But yeah, compare yourself to where you were artistically before, because you've definitely grown. I promise you, unless you've literally stagnated and refused any kind of positive criticism to grow, you've always grown. Secondly, when you started, you were passionate and you didn't care that your videos were not up to snuff. And you were like, hey, I made a thing and I'm really proud of it. Look at this little baby thing I made. Hey, I made a first drink ever. I now have a permanent thing here that reminds me that I made a drink once in my life. And it's exciting stuff. Maybe I'll go be a bartender. I don't know. But it's just one of those things where you can show so much more love and appreciation for who you are today by looking back at who you were then and remembering that you started because you were passionate, not for the glory or the fans or
absolutely
all that.
You know, is ultimately like, if you're starting something, do it first for yourself. Don't go into it with the mindset of like, I'm going to be famous if I do this. Because you're going to disappoint yourself. And you're also going to end up doing a lot of stuff you don't want to do or you don't like.
Yeah, enjoy the process.
100%.
Yeah, more than
you're not going to enjoy every single thing. Like, trust me, like, learning Premiere Pro, not super fun, guys. Especially,
I actually really like it.
Especially, like, when I was first starting, I was just like, oh, buddy. I was just like, I know how to cut the start and cut the end of the video. Oh yeah!
Just wait until you jump up to After Effects.
I've dabbled in it. That's
Yeah.
like for the stream when we have the like if I have to like use the bathroom or whatever. That's done in After Effects. So.
There's this great video. I don't know if it's readily available because I'm getting ready to transition to a different job, and I unlisted it when I interviewed for this job, but I'm definitely butt naked in it. It's called
Not safe for work, guys.
It's called Magic Gives You Power. Nudity Gives You Powers or something like that. It was inspired by Bayonetta, actually. In this video, Mitch and I are playing Bayonetta, and it's the opening scene where she like tears her clothes off and is doing powers.
Yep.
And I was like, do you know what this means? Being sexy gives you magic. And we get really excited.
Did you post that? Like, I have a feeling that...
It was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, like,
I was still living in Delaware.
I'm pretty sure, like, you describing it,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure I remember seeing that on Facebook.
Yeah, so Mitch comes out in, like, this really awesome suit, and he looks really swaggerlicious and really sexy, and I come out butt naked. Like, literally, I set up the camera so you just see, like, a bit of a cheek. So you know what's happening. And Mitch was straight up looking at dick. Like, there was, like, it's a good thing
like, hidden thong,
nothing, just straight up. But, like, look, we did theater together in high school. It was
yeah,
bound
so
to
I mean,
happen.
yeah, absolutely.
We were used to it. We've also made out before. That's another story.
Yeah.
That's how I know I'm straight. But the video, he goes, what are you doing? I don't think that's what I meant. And I was like, oh, really? And then I like, used After Effects to make a magic ball appear. And I cast it at my kitchen table, and then my cat Yoda appears out of nowhere. Amazing. And that is the most I've done with After Effects. Was just that. I just wanted to have that effect so badly.
Amazing.
That I downloaded and, like, paid for an effects suite to have that
just
one thing.
Hey. It's part of the process.
I was not financially pragmatic in that moment, but it was so worth it.
That's awesome.
So yeah, if I repost it, look at my butt.
It'll be great. Jemarc's butt.
Look at my butt. It's a nice butt.
What piece of software could you not live without at this current time?
Adobe Audition. Absolutely.
Smart.
Do all my audio editing on there. It has been an absolute godsend.
Yep.
It has all these preset effects that you can do. Because I'm not trained in audio.
Yep.
So there's a lot that I do not know. Like, I have no idea what the little nuances and changes do. But I have a good ear for things.
Yeah.
So generally speaking,
that's key.
Like, literally, I just play with shit, and I'm like, no, maybe? Yeah. Like, I Goldilocks it.
Yep.
And then, if I ever get back to video editing, for sure, Premiere Pro.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just the Adobe Creative
The Adobe Suite. Yeah.
The Adobe Suite is
it's kind of the standard, yeah,
incredible.
if you can afford it.
Yeah.
Nice. So, a lot of what you're doing is tabletop gaming. So, why do you think tabletop gaming, especially Dungeons & Dragons, is seeing such a huge surge in popularity recently?
I honestly believe it's for a lot of different reasons. First off, the internet and YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Just a platform where people can express themselves freely and openly and just throw stuff out there and remove the stigma and shame around such things. Because, I mean, you remember...
Around being a nerd?
Well, you remember when we were growing up, like, we would get beat up for things. That's really interesting. I had this joke that, like, gatekeeping nerds... and I used to be one, so I can say this. Gatekeeping nerds, we're, like, really pathetic. And we're like, we got beat up for this. You can't like it because we got beat up. And it's like, people can't like things because you got beat up?
Yep.
Like, what? And I'm not that anymore. And I'm like, no, I love that people are loving the medium, and I love people that are experimenting. But I also just think, honestly, a big part of it comes from the openness of talking about things like mental illness.
Yep.
Because with that comes talking about being comfortable with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, I love role-playing. I love being able to take on a character, and I love being able to explore. And, of course, there's also just all the shows we have now. We have the Adventure Zone. Of course, there's Critical Role.
Yep.
Just the growth of the tabletop community in today's day and age, mixed with just the need for nostalgia. You know, things have been a little dark for reasons I will not mention because they're not for this platform. But being able to just kick back and go back to basics.
Yep. Like,
not a video game, just rolling some dice and playing some games with some friends and losing some friends over those games. That's why you don't play Monopoly.
Yeah. Very nice. So, kind of a segue into that, with the ability to have virtual tabletop gaming sessions, which is exactly what you guys do, using things like Roll20 or Skype or like Fantasy Grounds and things like that. Do you think that in-person gaming sessions will go kind of the same way that side-by-side couch co-ops have gone for like console gaming? Like, do you remember like back in the day, like playing like GoldenEye with 3 of your buddies like huddled around your N64 on like your TV that was like this big? Do you think with the introduction of like virtual platforms, do you think like physically meeting up with friends and things like that, do you think it's going to go the same kind of thing?
I'm going to say no. And here's the reason why. You can't create a product and tell people they can't play it in person.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
absolutely.
with couch co-op video games, it makes sense because they literally don't make it physically possible with a video game. But you can't create a tabletop game and be like, you can only play this virtually. It's like, no, I can do it in person. Honestly, I think it would increase the ML.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
because with the advent of virtual gaming, first off, it exposes more people to trying it out. Helps people build their combo. Oh my god, there's a cat.
Hi, Sora. Our kitty's over.
Oh, you get your little face.
I love him so much. Come here, let me love you.
He'll eventually come over here.
He's coming. Oh my god, I got distracted. What were we talking about? But he's so cute. Come here, baby. Oh,
This is drunk Jemarc. It's hilarious.
Oh yes. To be fair, I told you when I was sober I was gonna do this.
That's true.
Hi.
So this is my munchkin kitty Sora.
This is so great. This is a good day.
It's a good day.
This is a real. Oh yeah, look at your little snaggletooth.
It's amazing. I love that little snaggletooth.
No, you can go down.
Yeah, because you've been missing your kitties.
I have been. It's
Yeah.
only been a day.
Like,
Pathetic, dude.
You still have like a week to go.
I'm not gonna last. Okay. What was
That's
the question about tabletop? Right. About
You kind of answered it. Yeah.
yeah. Honestly, I just think it creates more opportunities for people to meet people.
Absolutely.
Because I know, kids are shy and it's hard
Yep.
to meet people. But if you meet them on the internet, you meet really genuinely nice people and they're not jerks or creepy, then it would allow you.
Like how we met. Guys, we met on the internet.
We did meet on it. This is our first
and
time
he's
meeting.
not creepy.
This is our first time meeting IRL.
So you think?
I've watched you sleep. Yeah, so I think it's a great way for people to meet and make friends. Plus, I mean, gaming stores, it's like the arcade died, but gaming stores are opening everywhere.
Absolutely. And like not even just that, but like gaming cafes, like tabletop cafes, like one of the places that we love going to is the Round Table restaurant in Waterloo. If you guys want to take a look at what it used to look like before as Watchtower restaurant, I can shoot a card up in there if I still have enough cards. If not, links and all that will be down in the description below. But it's a super cool place. I know every Sunday they have open Dungeons and Dragons. They have like a whole bunch. Basically, they have like trivia nights. They have like tabletop gaming nights. So you can basically, even if you don't have like a party of friends that you can meet up with, you can go there, like bring either a character or they have pre-made characters there. You can basically just like jump in and play with people.
You could make friends.
Absolutely.
And then there's Gamers Core in Ellicott City, Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
If you go there, you might have a chance to meet Mitch, who is the dungeon master for TFEW, because he runs the kids adventure leagues there.
Oh, nice.
But they're really great. They're a new shop. They've only been open for a few months, but they're building
Cool.
a great community out that way.
So the description will be down. Their details will be down in the description below as well.
Yes.
Nice. So why don't you plug what you need to for Tabletop for the End of the World? How can people find you? What's the best way to find Tabletop for the End of the World? And once we're done that, then tell us a little teeny tiny bit about the new show.
Okay. So Tabletop...
Which Game Zero, the podcast, just released yesterday.
Yeah, it did. So Tabletop for the End of the World, you can find on any podcast streaming service, literally. iTunes, Google Play, Castbox, Podbean.
Yep.
Whatever you want, it's on there, and you can listen to it, and it's great. If you want to check us out on social media, just type at tfewcast. That's at TFEWCAST. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We have a Facebook page, which is Tabletop for the End of the World, and we have a fan group called TFEW Official Fan Group. Every month on there, we have a community event where people can post submissions and then get a freebie and get really neat stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of fun. From there, you could also check us out. The website is very much in beta right now. It needs to be prettified. It needs to be added stuff. But you could look us up at www.tfewcast.com. And we're getting ready to launch a Patreon in the middle of September called... and it's named after our actual production company that we're under, that we just got LLC status for, called We Are Heroes Productions. So that will be where you can support us, you can help us create more content by supporting us, and we'll give you some freebies. I am currently revamping our Discord so that anyone who supports us on there will automatically be added.
Nice.
And we'll have a chance to interact directly with the cast.
Yep.
And and part of launching the Patreon is creating a new show. And so the new show is called It Comes From Within. And it asks the question, what if a game of Call of Cthulhu, the tabletop game, was run by a literal eldritch god? And so on it, I play Edmund. Edmund is extremely delightful. He's a little bit deranged, but honestly, sanity is a little bit of a subjective thing when you think about it. And Edmund is he's a fan of Tabletop for the End of the World. And so what happens in the very first episode is mid-morning, Doria Marshall, who's our newest cast member, Hezekiah Corbin, who plays Yang, Manuel Lugo, and Kevin Heil. They all awaken in my void.
Yep.
And upon awakening in my void, they are greeted by jazz music. That song, Minnie the Moocher from the Betty Boop cartoon. Do you know that song? Minnie the Moocher. Yeah, it's extremely exciting. And they all show up, and I tell them, we're going to play a game together. And so I force them to play characters, and I tell them they really have no choice, which they don't. But the twist is, if you all are familiar with the isekai anime genre, what they do is they make the characters, and I instantly transport them into the bodies of those characters. And so they're literally living those lives, and it's traumatic and incredible. It's very much 18 and up, whereas our main show has no profanity, and we have some great dirty jokes that are never going to make it into the show. This one is a little bit more freeform. We're going to release the first few episodes. I haven't counted how many yet, but the first few episodes are going to be completely free to all our audience. You can find it on the Tabletop for the End of the World podcast, wherever you look it up, and then the rest of it will be Patreon exclusive, and for just $5 a month you'll get access to that, our Discord channel, and for more you get more things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And there'll be links for the Patreon in the description.
Bam!
Once it launches. It hasn't launched yet. Absolutely.
Very cool, man. Well, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so
Always
much.
good.
Thank you for getting me riggedy wrecked. I'll chug this before we go. Yeah.
That'll be fun.
That'll be bad.
So guys, hope you enjoyed the show. If you want to take a look at TFEW or any of the other stuff that we were talking about during the show, definitely check it out down in the description below. While you are down there, make sure you hit that thumbs up and hit the subscribe button with the little bell notification so you never miss a thing. We normally put episodes out on Thursdays. It's been a little rocky lately just because of personal issues, but getting back on track. So thanks so much, guys. We love you, and stay geeky.
Stay geeky.